Good day, everyone. My assigned topic is all about disadvantages of MBO and human asset accounting method. So, first, disadvantages of MBO. Unfavorable attitude of managers. So, unfavorable attitude of managers. Some executives have an attitude that the regular attention required of them by management by objective system drawn heavily on their busy time schedule and is not consistent with their rules. They feel that it is not so effective a way as some other approaches. Some view the rules as primarily involving policy, making budget, formulation, and etc. So, unfavorable attitude, it is defined as a person's negative behavior. So, as an employee, some employees are in a negative behavior. So, they are not consistent in their rules and their different rules. So, second is difficult to apply MBO concept. Those executives who have been involved very often find it difficult to apply MBO concepts to their own work habits. They find it hard to think about the results of work rather than the work itself. They tend to overemphasize goals that are easy to quantify, sometimes forgetting that workers often behave almost like children at play when the game no longer challenges interest is on last. So, when we say difficult to apply MBO concepts, it is an forgetting the workers often behavior. So sometimes they forget that they work their own uh, so third is the heavy paperwork. So MBO involves a huge amount of newsletter, instruction booklets, training manuals, questionnaires, performance, data review, and appraisals report to be prepared by the superior and subordinates. Thus, MBO is said to have created one more paper mill and organization added to the already existing large amount of paperwork. So, 4. Tug of war. There is sometimes tug of war in which the subordinates try to set the lowest targets possible and the supervision the highest. Time consuming. MBO is time consuming, especially in the early phases of its introduction with employees are unfamiliar with its process. So, uh, also the disadvantages of MBO is that time consuming because uh, there are some employees that are not familiar with their papers or their work, so that is why uh, uh, they they face the time consume. So next, the assessment center method. This concept was first applied to military situations army in the 1930s and the War Office Selection Board of the British Army in the year 1960. So, assessment center method, it is the first military situations army in the 1930s. The main objective of this method was to test candidates in a social situation using a number of assessors and variety of procedures. So the most important characters of the assessment center is job-related simulations. So these simulations involve characteristics that managers feel are important to the job success. So as a manager, it is important for us to uh, our job will be a success. The evaluators observe and evaluate participants as they perform activities commonly found in these higher level jobs. In this method, many evaluators join together to assess the performance of employee in several situations. With the use of a variety of criteria, it is used mostly to help select employees for the first level, so supervisory positions. So the assessments are made to find employees' potential for the purpose of promotions. So as an employee, so if we pass the assessment, so that is why we got promoted in the position. So the assessment is generally done with the help of a couple of employees and involves a paper and pencil test, interviews, and situational exercises. So the main features of the techniques are given below. Leaderless discussion, highly experienced evaluator, employees' individual and collective evaluation, preparation of summary report. Objectives of assessment centers. The centers are used for the following purpose. So the centers, there are also the purpose for implementing affirmative goals, for making an early determination of potential, for providing accurate information relating with human resource planning, for determining individual training needs of employees, for selecting recent college students for entry-level position, and last, for measuring potential for first-level supervision, sales, and upper management positions, and also for higher levels of management for development purposes. So, procedure, the assessment center program commonly used as follows. So, also, the assessment center program, they use some procedure. First is a leadership group is made, each member supporting a predefined position, but the group must arrive at consensus. Secondly, a task force is used with an appointed leader who decides on a course of action. Thirdly, simulation games and in-backseat exercises are used to test organizational and planning abilities. Fourthly, oral report is made by the candidate, which tests his communication skills and straight into his present position. So it is important communication skills. It is the one requirement so that we are promoted in that position. Fifth and lastly, personal interviews and projective tests are used to assess work, motivation, career orientation, and dependence on other. Paper and pencil tests measure intellectual ability. The duration of assessment center program varies with the persons. For instance, center designed to select first-line supervisors, sales personnel, and management trainee generally last for a day or less, while those used for higher-level managers may run for 2 or 3 days or longer if used for development and not for selection
Human
purposes.
resource accounting method. So it is accounting for people as an organizational resource. It involves measuring the cost incurred by business firms and other organizations to recruit, select, hire, train, and develop human assets. It also involves measuring the economic value of people to the organization. So that would be all. Thank you.